You hear that pre-roll music
Get amped.
for Sweat Equity Podcast? We're definitely getting taken down for this.
Probably, but you just got to keep going, baby.
We're going to keep going. We're going to talk over this. We're going to do our pre-roll ads. Pre-roll ad spot. Trygrasshopper.com/sweat. Get that hookup on your business phone line, a scalable phone line app. You can add phone numbers as needed, vanity numbers, all that jazz. Trygrasshopper.com/sweat. Our next sponsor,
Stay focused.
FreshBooks.
I know you want to get amped for this.
I know, I'm getting jacked up. My traps are starting to go to my ears. Go freshbooks.com/sweat. Oh my gosh. I need to do some drills right now. FreshBooks. Do your accounting drills, do your bookkeeping, do it. Go freshbooks.com/sweat. And if you can't see through the face mask, you can't get in the play. Warby Parker trial.com/sweat. That hooks up. Those are our sponsors. Those hook up this podcast. And that is a good,
Again, stay focused.
John Paul's in the studio.
Producer in the studio.
Tim Paniac.
Cock in the hen house.
Pictures. Shout out to Sweat Lodge Studio Services. If you want to get your podcast live stream recorded out of this studio, it's a Sweat Lodge studio. Sweatlodge.studio. That's sweatlodge.studio. No .com. That's for pussies.
Yeah.
Sweatlodge.studio. And then if you have any digital agency needs, you need someone to hook you up, holler if you hear it. You want someone to explain the internet to you and then do the services online for your business, go to Tocobaga, TOCOBA.GA. That is all our sponsors.
Real.
We're keeping it hashtag GirthyRI, hashtag 69B2B, but always hashtag Sweat Equity.
Wow.
Let's go.
Good job, buddy.
Yeah.
Sorry. No, I
kept it in front of me.
What about my Sweat
Very
Equity?
It's the 6 inches in front of your face.
Sweat Equity. My Sweat Equity. My Sweat Equity.
I've made bad choices in my career.
Never seen it all the way through.
What about my Sweat Equity?
And I get shit about it every time.
I had sex with Jessie Spano when she was on her way out.
In the movie?
Yeah.
No shit.
She's in the movie as Pacino's side piece.
She's got a great movie career. Striptease and that one.
It was right after Striptease, I think.
Yeah.
It'd be 98, so you mean Showgirls.
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 Striptease is also another great movie. Sorry.
Showgirls was 95, Striptease 96.
Thank you.
Striptease was a Carl Hiaasen book. He's my favorite writer.
You're an IMDb of shit movies.
This is why I didn't have a lot of friends growing up. I would go on IMDb. Back when it was, I think, 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. Yeah. Just went way nerdy on your ass.
What, they used to call it that?
It used to be part of the game. It was a website. I think that's how it started. I want to say that it was a 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon site.
And it turned into IMDb,
Yeah,
the
because
International Movie
essentially
Database?
That's what it is, right? It was essentially just data inputting all this information to connect Kevin Bacon.
Okay.
I want to say that's correct, or either that site got bought up by IMDb. I can't remember. I was on a Compact Presario, 96, man. Yeah.
I believe you, I guess.
I'm pretty sure. It's weird that I've been reading Pro Football Talk with Mike Florio for I know since high school, so it's got to be about 17 years. I remember being in the library in high school reading Pro Football Talk. This guy who was a lawyer that just loved just breaking down contracts and going over any rumors he heard.
Yeah.
And now he's
on TV.
They got bought out by NBC Sports, and it's him and Chris Sims every morning.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah, Chris Sims and we share a therapist. No big deal.
Yeah, they had their website.
Eskimo therapist.
They talk about the website they had was like from 98 up
It's
until.
still
Is it still
really
like
crusty,
it? I haven't looked at it.
I go there, but it's still good news. I like their contract breakdown because sometimes that's a little fun in a nerd way. But that's what I do for my free time.
Ooh, contracts, signing bonuses.
Yeah,
Oh.
if I could apply that to my own life, I think I'd be much happier. But I just read it for fantasy.
Get an NFL contract. Yeah, that'd be good for you.
Yeah, well, you can apply some of the stuff about a signing bonus. You don't think of it like that if you're going out for jobs, but some of them do have that. Some of them.
Yeah,
like even the trades have that a
bonus.
lot now. Yeah. But people don't push for it. And if you don't act as your own agent, you're never going to even get on the radar for it.
Ask for a signing bonus. How much will you give me just for free?
Well, you have to know your value first. That's the other part.
Oh.
Right?
And
You have
what
to
if
know,
they don't
like,
think it's anything.
You got to really assess the industry. How how much of a need are you
Uh-huh.
in that industry? If you're, I don't know, administrative assistant, that's a job that's entry level.
Yeah,
No
there's
one's-
very few jobs that would warrant a signing bonus
No, there's the
other than
trades.
professional athletes.
No, service.
The
homes,
trades?
yeah, trade services.
I guess so. Yeah,
'Cause
they're
they're
hard
so-
to find good ones.
Right, it's so hard to find good employees there.
Okay.
So there's stuff like that, or there's stuff
I
that
thought you were saying like there's signing bonuses when they get traded, like the players. It's like, okay.
it'd be cooler if it was that way. Like,
Yeah.
because then you could be, if you're the GM of your company, you're kind of playing GM too. But you'd have to have a unionized kind of system of all your competitors.
Yeah.
Yeah, that ain't gonna work. Not in America. Not in my America.
Not in my America either.
Because the NFL's socialist, while you
Right.
know baseball is more capitalistic.
Yeah.
John Paul, Tampaniac Pictures. I know we gave a shout out in the beginning, but
Yeah.
just want to make sure.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah,
He's alive and listening.
and then
Thank you.
Eric Reginger up for best up and coming.
Eric, stop looking at the TV.
What? Did you say something?
No.
Okay, I was waiting for you. Come at me, bro.
How long have y'all been friends?
Too long.
Aw,
Talk about.
that's what people.
It's high school.
I ain't re-signing that contract.
Whoa! But he's gonna slap that franchise
Yeah.
tag on you. He got you for another year, man.
Yeah.
You can't Le'Veon Bell your way out of that.
Can't get fat and happy. Now he's got me
Can't choose your
self-conscious.
friends or family.
That's the saying. You can't choose your friends. They just glom on.
The booger saying,
You just fucking can't get rid of them.
or is that a herpes saying?
That's say it goes for herpes too. You can't choose your herpes.
The gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
Before the mics heated up. I'm pretty stressed right now, but I'm having a good time.
Oh,
Yeah,
why?
I'm about to have like a defense falling down moment, but I'm not going to talk about it.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I can legally talk
That's
about
the
some of
healthy
it.
thing to do is bottle it up,
Well,
bury it down,
if
baby.
I'm a little weird for those listening, I just want to bring that to the attention of the audience. But I think for legal reasons, I can't bring some stuff up. So, if I go,
not your job to make excuses.
if I go falling down, Michael Douglas style, that's and just go in a rage out of here. That's what's going on.
Oh, okay.
Before we heated up the mics, John Paul brought in all of his lists, and it's been a while since we talked about how to like actually write a to-do list. This is as pragmatic as it gets for this show.
Yep.
I don't think there's anything that's more. We're gonna try to not make this boring or laborious or as tedious as that sounds, but really, this is something. Let's bitch for a second that they should teach this in school.
Oh, yeah. There's so much stuff they should teach in school that they don't.
But this is like this should be
isn't
taught.
yeah, this should be a subject. Organization.
Did you have a little like notebook? You had to have a homework like book to write down a list of like the homework you had to do. You had to like get this like little thin like kind of pamphlet ish kind of like have the calendar in it. It was like a daily planner.
Yeah, we had a daily planner thingy.
Okay, so you
For
had
hall
something like
pass
that.
too to go to the bathroom. We had to get it signed.
But they don't tell you like how to actually take notes is one. Like remember when you had to speed note take? Like someone would go, "Look, you can't write everything down. You're gonna have to figure out how to do shorthand." And you're
Right.
like, okay, but no one told me how.
Why
to do
did you say the things that I'm not supposed to write down?
that. Yeah, I wrote that
Oh,
part down.
It's just on me to figure it out. That you're the teacher. Why you got to tell me what to write down?
I wrote down the part of you that was an aside.
Right.
You did a sidebar,
Learn
and I
to
wrote that
take
down
better notes.
because you
Got
slowed
it.
down, bitch.
Yeah.
So my thing was always like with the homework planner, I'd write to dos in that, and then I'd get home and be like, I'd forget I even had that book.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I was a C+ student
Right.
my whole life, I think, until I got into business classes and everything synced together. But what's it called? That's most of the battle with the to-do list to me.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Is lists are fine. Lists make you feel like you've done something. There's a thing called the small wins theory. There's a way to go at lists. There's really like whole philosophical kind of ways to get shit done.
yeah. Well, I mean, the small wins thing probably is relatable to John Paul needing because John Paul's got a stack of notebooks about 4 inches high that he's got stuff from I don't even know how long, and you'll get your chance to explain yourself But
he's
he's
just
got tons of just stuff that he's trying to organize. And I was like, here, look at this app. He's like, I don't want the apps
That's fine.
immediately.
I get it. I
but
get that
part
too.
of that is that he wants something that's more satisfying to cross off. Like the apps don't make a big enough deal for him. Like, it's not like a pimple being popped.
I've gone
like he
back.
wants.
It's
what,
not tangible.
Right.
okay. So this Bluetooth notebook it's part of the reason I have it is because I like handwriting things down. What I've gone back to doing is putting a to-do list in a Zendu. So I have it in Evernote. It can sync automatically with a Zendu. You don't have to do it that way. It will say, if you figure out a system, it will save you time in the long run.
How do you spell Azendu?
Azendoo. They're a Canadian app company. I'm loving the Canadian app companies.
Oh.
I used to use them. Same with Proposify, and now I'm back. Because I like the fact that you can do a checklist in Evernote kind of on the fly, and then it'll automatically pull it in there.
That is nice.
And then over time, it'll tag it after it finds out what you usually put in what subject.
Ah.
So I have stuff for home. I have stuff for my personal life. I have stuff for work by client that I need to get to. That's more of like internal than it is like shared. That would be like Asana for a project.
Yeah.
But I don't want to get into the tech stack stuff because if that's not what he's looking for.
Well, just real quick, I want to understand why you don't want to use an app, John Paul.
It's very easy. Because it takes 2 seconds to look at a list that's right in front of you instead of having to pull up an app and then go through it. I can literally have a list in front of me and it takes 2 seconds.
There's something cumbersome about putting everything in one app. I will say that, right?
I'm not trying to I'm actually trying to understand. I'm not really trying to.
I know
Okay,
you
when
are.
I work, I literally set my lists out in front of me on my desk. So I can just look up at an eye glance and see what I got to do.
Yeah.
And that's how I like it.
So you just need a whiteboard, a big whiteboard.
No, because I can take this anywhere.
A foldable whiteboard.
That's why I bought
Put it
this,
in a big
this
backpack.
binder today, and I'm going to have all my tabs.
So your big life-changing decision today is that you're going to take all your lists and you're going to put them in a notebook with tabs.
No,
Like
I'm
a
going
ring
to
binder?
prioritize them and consolidate it.
Okay.
Like I told you, I had taxes written down 5 different times.
Right. So we've talked about what's called the Eisenhower Matrix a long time ago. This is like the exact same conversation. And look, I'm not ragging on you because this is the little discipline stuff that's really tough. And at least you're saying it out loud that, hey, I need a better system. That's basically what you're telling us. Now, whether you
Can I just explain, though, too?
Yeah.
Is that this has been going on for like 5 years where I've been making these huge lists. And I've probably gone through like 4 phases of lists. And I've a mountain each time. And I've kind of like done offshoots of that. And I'm still left with these big mountains of lists that I've created. And I'm going to go back and see what I've done and consolidate everything, but get rid of these lists and compile it. It's going to be great.
Okay. So to clarify what you just said, you don't have 5 years of lists. You've been doing this for 5 years where it gets swollen so big and so overwhelming that you have to condense it at one point. You do one big purge.
Law, can I be honest?
Okay.
Well, what were you doing
Yeah,
before? You
wait,
lying to our
were you-
faces?
Were you
Dare
tap
you.
dancing like
Okay.
Fred Astaire around this?
I can still say I hate that when people don't want you to say that. But let me be honest. Okay, listen.
Honestly,
I can show you one of those pieces of paper that's on my list, and it might be 5 years old, and you will be able to see and tell how old it is.
So it is 5 years.
It's
of
old.
lists.
It might be.
I hope taxes.
When I said 2
isn't on
earlier, I was lying.
there. Well, I
I'm
mean,
being honest.
okay, I don't understand. How many to-dos could you possibly have? And I mean, if something's 5 years on a piece of paper, how is it still in your possession? Like that, you don't. Whatever that was, you don't have to do it.
he's pulling
Other
one. He's
than
like,
the
I got
Texas-
one over here that
It's-
says vote for
Other than
Dukakis.
your
It's a wake-up call.
Other than your taxes.
It's a wake-up call.
But like,
Look,
Do a
if
plank.
you had something 5 years ago you had to do and you never did it, like, what's going to happen?
I saw one of them that said, "Do a planking video, get views." He's pulling all his
Harlem
list
Shake
from the other
video
room,
to do.
and the production part of this place.
It's in there
is
scrambling.
Well, it looked like a bunch of pirate maps. Some of them that I
They're
saw.
all, yeah, yellowed and brown.
These are things that I still need to do.
Is it a sniper list?
Create a hard drive full of B-roll footage that I can just pull from anytime I want, because I have about 6 years of footage
Oh Christ, that's a
of all kinds of stuff,
to do.
probably about 20 terabytes of footage that I need to go through and just pull out all my good stuff and categorize it.
Okay.
So
But you haven't done any of it, right?
I have not started that. No,
So
You got to break that
and that's
down
on
then.
the list.
yeah, that
You got to
one,
break that part down because
that one's not a glut.
too big.
Yeah, you got to go. That's why I try to put that in like a flex time. It's not super urgent, but it is one of those things that frustrates you when you need that B-roll. You probably have to go search through it all the time, right? So
Yeah,
if you chip
exactly.
away, look, this is a really hard discipline to do. If you chip away at it 30 minutes a day, you knock that shit out before you knew it. But a lot of people don't have that, myself included. I'm working on that with our website. I'm like, if I can spend 30 minutes a day, if I don't get to it one day, I spend an hour the next day. But I'm getting up earlier to do that work.
Yeah, John Paul, you should just go
We're working
through
later.
by project. I'd say go backwards in time, like our most recent one. Go back, grab B-roll from that, whatever there is, and then just if it's just one project a day or whatever. I mean, you gotta, because I know how you think, and you look at that giant thing and just put it off because it's too big.
I do the same thing too. When stuff mounts up, it gets too large.
Right.
I avoid it. I'll get to that. I'll just do it all in one day.
And the longer it goes, the bigger
And then
it
I'll
becomes.
never get to it.
It's
Yeah.
like, oh, that giant thing.
It's a snowball.
It's a mountain, literally.
Right. Well, you got to make a molehill.
Right. And so you got to chip away at it. You got to take an axe pick and pinch off a little bit. And that the rule I did where I go, whatever minute marker you do, don't kill yourself if you don't hit it one day. You might not get to do 15 minutes every day of whatever on a big project, but you can chip away. And then you look at it. Here's the big thing. You always look at that thing and you're like, why was I making a big deal out of this?
Right, exactly.
Every time.
Every time.
Every time I do this.
Every time.
And then and I just realized, like, recently was like, well, if I keep putting these big to-dos, the snowballs up, this big one project I need to do, and I'll do it all in one slutty Sunday, one glut slut Sunday, right?
Hashtag gut slut.
I'm stressed. That's all I'm doing all that day. And then, like, there's some things like web development where it's better to do in chunks sometimes. It's better to do
For sure.
like 2
Video
hour
editing
chunks.
too, really.
Video editing's another. But something like this sounds like you can pop in, takes you a minute to get everything up and going. And it's just a lot of categorizing, just looking at stuff and categorizing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
got an
going at
end
this
to it,
really
John Paul. It's got an end.
The same way that you go about dealing with a problem that you had, like maybe it's alcoholism or some shit. You gotta look at it at little things and chip away.
Right.
And like you can't just look at the big picture.
Well, so that, I
You
mean,
have to go.
but when I was saying to you before we got on the mic, I was saying, like, try to assess how many hours this might take you.
Right.
And then break out the time, and you're like, and I was like, no, I'm serious. I was like, try to go, okay, or at least time yourself doing it for 15 minutes and go, okay, I can get this amount done. There's that many files I need to go through. This will take X amount of time, roughly.
Yeah.
So you're not killing, you go, that's not bad. It takes me a month. I'll have everything set up.
Just work on like one project a day, one previously completed project to go through, because some you're going to fly right through, and
For sure.
the more you're going to be,
And you'll develop systems along the way that may be quicker too.
yeah, and because if anything, have that hard drive ready to go for the next one, and start doing that now. B-roll hard drive, boom, put it on there when you're uploading or downloading your stuff onto your computer, and do it then. But you got to think that this thing, it has an end. Like there's not an infinite amount of video that you have to go through. There's it's probably, I don't know, 1,000 hours, whatever it is, but there will be an end to it. And if you just go backwards, because that's going to be the best to the worst, earlier in your career. So
You saw all
go
those
that way.
all those files I had on my desk.
Incremental, baby.
There you go. The incremental.
Almost did one of them today. Good
The-
thing you showed up.
So I had all those files. I just aggregated all files I have because they're all mixed all over the place from when I moved like 4 months ago, and I just haven't gotten to it. And I look at that and I was like, same thing. It piled up. I didn't take care of it. I could have knocked it out 10 minutes a day. It would probably take me a week, right? So now I just have them all. I've chipped away at the last couple of days. It didn't take that long at all.
No.
And like, it's almost embarrassing that I put it off to myself, right? That I made this a thing.
That's like another thing. It's like you get hard on yourself, and it's like, oh man, like I can't believe I didn't do it or did do it. And it's just like, just take the judgment of yourself out of it,
And I
because
did it-
that's a preventer.
I would do it like before I'm going to sleep because I don't need my whole brain to really be like firing in all cylinders. So I go, okay, if I'm going to go to bed in like 30 minutes, I'll just spend 20 minutes and just do that.
Yeah, do some boring
It'll be
stuff.
boring as fuck.
Yeah,
And then I'll go to sleep.
yeah.
They said the best
Good
thing to
idea.
go to sleep, Jordan Peterson, I heard, said the clinical psychologist, and I guess he's technically like alt-right or something. I don't know. It's
No,
crazy.
he's not.
He's the
He's
most
just
pragmatic
labeled
person of
that
all
way.
time. Yeah. But Jordan Peterson said, if you want to go to sleep, the best thing to do is write your to-do list for the next day.
Hmm.
So, and that, if
I don't know if that. I feel like that would be.
I think people just get bored of thinking about that shit.
Maybe.
Some people might get anxious, but he said that's
I
like,
would get anxious.
but before the mics heated up, we were kind of duplicating a little bit of this conversation, but you declutter yourself by using a mind map.
Oh yeah. You had a good,
And that-
quote on that.
Yeah, and that clears like your RAM. That clears.
Yeah,
I feel like
I like
RAM on
that.
your computer where it's that fan's running.
Yep.
And you're like,
Yeah.
oh shit, this thing's getting hot. It's an
Too
old
many
Mac.
apps going.
Yeah, I got too many Chrome windows open, and it's starting to fan up and slow down.
Got Acrobat running in the background for 2 days for no reason. I'm not using it.
Right. So
That's worrying about this stupid thing that you don't have to worry about.
I use Memory Clean as an app, but I heard it doesn't do anything. But I like it. It gives me peace of mind. I think it works. So,
Eric, what was the app that you use?
MindMeister.
and if you use
MindMeister.
and if you use the digital whiteboard app Miro, it has a mind mapping tool within that. Whatever it is.
it's
Eric's-
nothing crazy.
No, Eric uses it to declutter. I like it in a creative way sometimes, where I'm like, I got to write this story or this joke, but I don't know how to get it all. I just want to get all the words out, just whatever words just associated.
Oh yeah, if you were
Get
writing
it
a
out
movie
there.
or something with
Right.
any sort of complex storyline, you have to pay attention to a bunch of different things.
Or you build it out with 4 characters, and they're going
Yeah.
to intertwine at some
Yeah.
point, like a Seinfeld episode.
It's a good way to have the 30,000 foot view or whatever the saying is of this. In my case, it's my life.
But it also
But-
gets that shit out that you think you're going to lose while you're writing the list.
Right.
like
Exactly.
you're like, oh, I got to write all these other things down
Yep.
that are coming up, that are starting to come to fruition.
Bubble over.
So my thing with what you're doing, so let's take that part aside, that video part aside. Let's say if you have a big project, that's probably your best way of doing it. There are daily planners online that are free to print out. If you go on Pinterest, you can search a bunch of free ones.
I was gonna say for you, John Paul, if you want something tangible, what about a ongoing list that you maybe print up every morning and scratch it off, and then you'd have to do it back into the computer and tell it what you did, but whatever's new, it remains from the previous day, gets printed up again. What about that?
You know what I got a boner for? Just when you guys were talking about it, like a writer's room where they're making a movie, and they've got a wall of sticky notes. I would love something like that.
What?
You can use. There's a whiteboard in the other room. It's literally the.
And
like
I'd have
the-
my categories. Like
What?
law. What were the categories
for
that
the
I should have on my list? My
Eisenhower
my
matrix.
life list.
Urgent, important,
Mhm.
not urgent, important, not
Because
urgent, not
what I was
important.
doing was day of, like today. That's one list. And then what I have to do in a week. And then my long term.
that
And then my sales and emails.
Yeah, so Eisenhower's good for kind of more of like a declutter thing. I would say if you're talking about you should sit down once a week and go, what do I got to do this week? Kind of plan out your week. Look, it sounds nerdy as much as you want to avoid it. I don't think anybody trying to do their own business can really avoid that. So when I brought clients in now and we're doing a big change to what they're doing, especially if they're a one person kind of business, like one person, the CPA or something like that, right? It's all them. And I know how stressful that is. So I go, part of what I do is I go, what's your work-life balance like? What's your schedule like? Because do you know what you operate your best at too? That's another little, like a second tier to all this. But do you have something in your week, once a week, where you look at the week ahead and plan that out?
Yeah.
I would say
integrating that into your.
That's half the battle. You have to do it with kids. Like, you pretty much have to do it.
Oh, yeah, with kids.
Or you're always going to be that person that's like, oh, I'm always running late and always like, forgetting stuff.
I definitely spaced on the meet the teacher for my daughter.
It's going to happen.
Like, we don't know where her classroom is. We're supposed to find out earlier.
You filed that under not that important.
Right.
They'll figure it out.
Yeah.
They're not going to like wander the school the whole year. Like, well, I didn't have a teacher. So I've just been a feral student.
She's going to
this
be
whole
second
year.
grade again.
Right. Like,
maybe next year
sometimes when
her
you
dad
know,
will remember.
No, you
probably the teacher.
You probably made a note, hey, don't be that dad in your head, a mental note of sorts.
Yeah, I don't like to. I've been batting 1,000 up until that point.
Yeah,
big bummer.
And sometimes there's a little gratification off of being organized when others aren't.
Right. Oh, yes.
Being on
definitely
time.
Want to be putting myself on a pedestal.
I'm not going to say that there isn't some of that going on, but I'm saying like, yeah, you have to create time kind of thing. And so you have to like go, all right, Sundays, I take an hour, I look at the week ahead or whatever it is, Friday, whatever the weaker day, WEAK, weaker day of your week. Not that the other way would make sense, but
I don't have any weekdays, bro.
But I'm saying like none of us have really any off days.
Nah.
So you have to find what's the kind of a little bit more chill day to find time to be able to create time.
Yeah. And just, I know I've talked about it before, what my tech stack organization is with Wunderlist and Habit List. It's real. I still use it. Habit List. I use that for things that I need to do repeatedly, whether it's a daily, monthly, whatever thing I got to do. That has a nice little, you push the button and it crosses it out, JP, if you're wondering. And then Wunderlist, that's like my to-do list. That's like, I got to do this stuff today. Boom, there it is. And that gets carried over every day. There's something I don't do.
I could be sold on an app if it was like arcade style. And there's things that blew up and like missiles came in.
Okay. How about this? I kind of try to gamify my to-do list like this, but not in that way. Not like I get a little animation where Mario jumps on the flag and then he jumps in the castle. Like, I don't need that.
That'd be awesome.
Well, the real reward is you'll make more money overall if you can figure out systems, right?
Sure.
And so
it's not all about crossing things off. It's more about the convenience of just having it right in front of you.
But you have your phone on you all the time. It's not like you're against phones. I mean, that's where I get confused.
But I'm saying you can go back. You can go back and forth like I do, though. You can write stuff. I write everything in there because I need something that is one big centralized base of to-dos. And then early in the morning, I handwrite it out because I was trying to look up the stat, what the percentage is. If you write it out, you're way more likely to remember it. I think I want to say it's 29%.
100%.
Okay.
No. But
what about
you're more likely to remember your to-do list. So a lot of the times I'll write it out. I don't have to look at it for hours because I already go, okay, I know what to do. I
know that like you and I will bounce around sometimes trying new apps and things, and like that in and of itself can be a good reset or RAM clearing, whatever you want to call it. But like for you, John Paul, maybe just trying an app might help you better understand. Maybe an app isn't the answer, but you could come up with something better by trying an app and seeing what you don't like from that perspective.
Yeah, the process of elimination of like what works. You got to deduce what works for you.
Right.
Clearly what you're doing isn't working if this is an issue,
Right.
right? So by doing nothing, by just keep doing lists, that's
Yeah.
not helping. Like these like scattered handwritten lists. So that's a good call. You always have to kind of look back and go like, well, clearly there's a problem and what I'm doing is not working.
Right.
And that's a lot of it, honestly. That's a lot of like assessing problems is like, I've been doing this a lot lately and going like, okay, I tried that. That's not working.
It sucks.
And I'm actually like building time to think about that, to have analysis time.
Yeah.
That's super nerdy.
That's
but,
really, yeah.
but
yeah, but dude,
my time is, I'm stressed about time all the time. So it's like,
it's an evolution that you got to make because, like, you know, it's almost just immature to not do that. Where you take, is this actually working? What am I actually doing? Is it working? That's, you know, it's not easy to do.
So like part of the flexible stuff to get done, try to reward yourself. That you can play games like that. Like there used to be like, I'd be like, all right, I can't until I get my 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups done in the morning. I can't do anything else like that. That kind of gamifies it for me. I've been doing that the last couple of weeks. So the first thing I do when I get up, I do those and stretch because I've got back pain, right? How long am I going to bitch about back pain?
I put stretch on my habit list every day.
And how long? Right.
Dude.
So you have habits, tasks, and projects. Those are habits, but I gamify those and I go, okay, until I do those things, it's like 20 minutes to do all three of those.
Right.
I can't do anything until I do those and
That's
just
good.
make a game out of it. Like it's my own like Zelda castle or something.
Yeah. John Paul, I think just for you, you just need to start at one list that you have and start going line by line. Is this something I need to carry over to my brand new life of lists? Is it that important, or can I just cross it off and say, fuck it, I'm not going to think about it anymore? Because
what's a project? What's a task?
right.
I would start there.
I mean, well, is it, I'm starting before that. Like, is this even important? Because, I mean, if he's got a 5-year-old piece of paper, there's stuff on there he doesn't need.
All right, so going through this list, we're saying do Eisenhower
I'm
matrix,
excited.
do an Eisenhower matrix for everything, then break it down by project or task. Obviously, projects have a bunch of tasks underneath it, but what are like just kind of tasks like follow-up calls and stuff like that?
Newsflash, asshole!
Consider those like one-time things, or just those are just something you can't really control, kind of thing. And then your projects, you can go, that's where you do the timeline. You go, okay, it's going to take me a month to get through that categorization of B-roll, right? But once I'm done, and then you'll have a system going forward, I bet, when you do those video dumps. Because that's literally editing. I've done some editing before, and the worst part is like just categorizing all the fucking clips.
Oh yeah, when you first get done with a project and you're going on there and putting the footage on your computer, just trying to like conceptualize. And I mean, John Paul does a way better job of this because he's like day of thinking about shots and he remembers the footage itself a lot better than I do. But like just getting that huge dump of footage and then like being like, okay, where do I start?
Right. That becomes overwhelming for an editor.
Exactly.
So eventually that gets easier too as you have a categorization system. Like that's fucking nerdy too. I've been doing it with our Dropbox, like files. We need a workflow system because I'm tired of doing the same thing. So I spend 10 minutes. If I'm waiting for someone on a meeting or someone has to take a phone call, I'm like, all right, I have 10 minutes to just sit here and I'm not going to get into emails or I'm not going to get into any real work. I just digitally organize.
Yeah,
And
I'll do that. I'll
just
be
chip
like,
away.
do I have apps I can delete off of my phone?
Yeah. I have to sit in a meeting, something that I can do something else like that.
Yeah.
I'll just do that the whole time.
Yeah. Got
And if
anything else, John Paul?
And then I get better about doing it as I go.
Yeah. You good, John
I
Paul?
might try an app.
Oh my God.
But I'm gonna
Wow.
do what I said
Eric, you should be a lobbyist.
today,
Yeah.
and it's going
Either
to
that
change
or
my
he's
life.
hungry.
Or he wants the episode dead.
He's the appetizer. All right, buddy.
What about my sweat equity?
Let's get some apps.
Thanks for listening.
Sweat
Some
equity.
dessert.
Sweat equity.
Apple
My
Podcasts,
sweat equity.
Spotify, your
My
mom's
Sweat
Walkman.
equity.com.
equity.
Talk over each other. Yeah.
It's the end. Nobody cares at this point.
Hotty toddy.
Damn it.
What about my sweat equity?
Ah.